You are listening to Naked Soul Reflections, Mindful Moments for Clothes-Free Living, with your host, Hantu Nehart.
Good morning and happy Monday to you all. Hantu Nehart here, sharing with you another episode of Naked Soul Reflections. Today I want to share some thoughts with you about returning to the original and innocent self. For me, this happens quite notably when I'm in nature. And last summer, oh my goodness, when I went camping, it was like no other experience I had ever had in my entire life, to go clothes-free camping for days on end. And I was reminded of that and reconnected with that, with a touch of that sentiment, when I went for a bare-chested ride this weekend with my friend Gingerbread, whom many of you know from her accounts, Breasts Are Healthy, and all of her bare chest equality advocacy here in the United States. We went for a ride on Sunday in my city, where it is legal for women to be bare chest. And so we took advantage of the warm weather that finally, for anyone on the East Coast of the United States, the weather has been insanely cold through the month of May. And finally, it went from being like 50 degrees Fahrenheit to 88. And it, overnight, of course, as it must happen in this particular city. But so she sent me a text message Sunday morning. Hey, what you doing? And from there, it was, as a group, we went out, and me, Gingerbread, and her fiance went out for a bare-chested ride in the city, and I was just reconnected with this feeling of being in my most original, most innocent, most precious state. Even if as far as I could go for this ride was to be bare-chested, because in public, because that's all that's legal for us at the moment, to be able to do that in public as my right was so freeing. And it was all just, the moment was for me, and to experience the breath of the wind as we rode through the bike trails and through the city and around the monuments, feeling the wind on my skin and going through my locks and under the cloud cover. It was a fairly gray day, but a cloud cover is nice when the weather is warm, just as a little shade from the sun. But I really connected with this feeling of being innocent, of being holy, of being precious. And that feeling is something I really got when I went camping last summer too, which of course means I can't wait to go camping again. Like, I'm so looking forward to that. But being outside, clothes free, just reminded me of how precious I am as a human being. And how often do we give that to ourselves? Like, the other day, we have several babies running around my office, these new mothers, and they brought their kids in. And, I watched these little tiny tykes run around, and they trip over and they fall. And when the tiny tykes fall, I don't know about you, but when they fall, I just think, oh my gosh, it's so precious. Look at them learning and exploring, and they're curious. No one gets mad at them for putting the key chain in their mouth, because they're just curious. But what do we think of ourselves as, grown-ups when we tumble, when we make mistakes? I don't know about you, but I judge myself. I'm like, I can't believe I did that. That was such a stupid move. so boneheaded. How could I have possibly thought that was a good idea? I judge myself. I mean, do you? I certainly do. Every time I take a tumble, I don't think, oh, that's okay. You're just learning about the world around you. I think, no, you should know everything. You're a grown up and you're not getting any younger, as your mother wants to remind you. And so I really want to invite us back to that place this week. If you have the opportunity to spend some time clothes-free outside in a place where you can be at ease, and by that I mean if it's legal, if you have a sacred, secret spot where you can go and just have a few moments to yourself, or even if all you can do is stand and look at yourself in the mirror, I want to invite you into that moment where you can be in your original form, in your original environment of nature. And can you reconnect with this idea, with this sentiment that you are innocent, that you are precious, that no matter how many mistakes you made, no matter what you did wrong 5 minutes ago, no matter what you do or do not know, can you see yourself as precious? I want to invite you to do that this week. Can you consider yourself holy? Can you consider yourself pure? And I really got present to that when I went camping clothes-free. To be outside for extended periods of time in my own skin, I never had such high regard for myself as a human being. And so I hope that you can create that time for yourself. I hope that even perhaps today, you'll take 5 minutes. Perhaps if you feel comfortable, if you have the opportunity to be clothes-free, sit for 5 minutes in your stillness. And as you breathe, with every inhale and exhale, perhaps the mantra, I am innocent, I am precious, I am pure. And think about how that impacts the rest of your thoughts, whether you're at work, with family, with friends, with frenemies. How does that positive thought impact your actions? For instance, when I think about myself as innocent and pure and precious, it helps me forgive myself and to not get hung up on imbalances in my life. I ate too much cereal. Did I exercise today with the correct intention? Did I say the wrong thing yesterday? Am I a horrible person? No, not a horrible person. You made a mistake. Okay. I can go back and apologize. I can get complete with that person. And I can still be pure and precious. I might be 5'5", but I still bump my head too, just like a toddler. Can you give yourself that this week? Consider yourself good. And perhaps, similar to me, perhaps for you, going back into nature for a moment and just remembering your original self. 5 minutes in nature. You know, even, I don't know if you can be clothes free, but even if you can't, 5 minutes in nature. See what happens. And I'm excited for what this new or renewed perspective of yourself will open up for you. It's opened up a whole lot of self-love for me, which in turn means that I'm nicer to other people. How about that? And with that in mind, before we go, I will share a piece of poetry with you. This is a piece I wrote perhaps a month ago. It's called Holy, I Am Holy. It sort of ties in with this return to seeing the self as innocent, as precious, as pure, as good. Holy, I am holy. Every single breath I breathe gives witness to the universe. That's what I believe. Holy, I am holy. Every finger, every toe. No matter what they preach at me, I already know. Holy, I am holy. Every bone and every cell. My body's all of heaven. The mind's my only hell. Holy, I am holy, and divine I've always been. To celebrate is gratitude. To doubt's my only sin. And the final piece of poetry I'll leave with you is also one that I wrote about a month ago, called I Am Alive. And I get this feeling as well when I spent time being clothes-free in nature. And this feeling stayed with me, and it inspired this poem. I am alive, says my heart to my head. Feel me beat through your feet when you walk down the street. Bare your soles, open-toed, press your heel, really feel where you stand. Take your hand, touch me here, never fear. With your palm to your chest, take your gaze to the west. Hear the sound of your breath, even though you have wept. I am alive, says my heart to my soul. I am free just to be. I'm alive. I am me. So I'll leave that with you, my friends, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Anthony Hart here. Namaste.